And we are live for realsies. Maybe, probably. Let me wait till YouTube confirms that. Yes, we are live. You can hear my microphone.
I can hear yours.
There we go. And we got Justin's too. All right, let's do this thing. So,
Dude, well, cheers. This Henry McKenna is definitely one of my favorites.
I definitely feel bad because I'm not cheersing you with the whiskey you got me yet, because I feel like I have the capabilities now to make an old fashioned here, and I have to do it. So
that's fair. Yeah, save that for another time.
Oh, no.
Yes.
It's next.
Oh, okay.
I just have to have one of these first.
Bottled on 69.
So good, isn't it?
09. So good.
Let's see what bottle.
This is one of my favorite. This tops the new riff for me, at least.
All right. When was yours bottled?
6909.
Or barreled? 3/24/09. So there's 3 months apart. Barrel number 6682 for me.
Wait, damn! They bottle, or let's see. This barrel was 8602 for mine.
Wow. Okay, so in 3 months they use up 2,000 barrels.
2,000 barrels. That's a lot of barrels.
And only at least half of those are mine.
That's what you have in your basement, right?
Yeah, I'm well on my way through this bottle. My Michter's American whiskey, which is what I've been putting in my old fashions, which is really good in an old fashioned, is almost gone. But luckily you sent me the new riff. So how's the Henry McKenna compared to the new riff?
I think it's better than the new riff for sure.
Well, I mean, I knew it would be. So
yeah.
I haven't had a whiskey that beats Henry McKenna for me. It's my favorite, hands down, whiskey right now.
Yeah, I've had maybe one other whiskey, but it was like ridiculously expensive for the price point. I don't think I've had anything as good as this.
Yeah, and I bought this on. I was trying to figure out how to get it shipped to you. I bought it on Caskers, which I've never bought through before, and it's actually cheaper than my liquor store. So my liquor store, it's got a price tag of $99.99 on it, and I think it was $80 or something like that on Caskers. I didn't pay shipping and stuff, so probably ended up netting out about the same, but I was impressed, especially for trying to get whiskey shipped across the country.
Yeah, likewise. I used Flavier to ship yours.
Yeah, I looked at them. They were more confusing. And I don't know if Henry McKenna popped up on there. I don't remember what it was. But just didn't pop up. So I started today with the migraine. That was fun.
Oh, Jesus.
This is the worst. I couldn't see for like 45 minutes. It's horrible. It's like I just got to that point in the day where I'm about to jump into things and I can't see. That was fun.
What causes them for you?
I think mine are somewhat tied to allergies. I seem to be a lot more prone to them when I haven't been taking my allergy medicine. And then what I get a lot worse is if I'm tired. So the last 2 days have been the first 2 days in a while. I've been finally waking up at 4:15 yesterday, 5:15 today. So I've been a little more tired. And then once I'm like in a place where it could be triggered, light just like sets it off and it's awful.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah.
Well,
we should probably talk about some finance or something, right?
Yes. Since you can see now, let's talk about some dollars and cents.
Some dollars and cents. All right. What has happened since the last time we were here?
Since last Tuesday.
Yeah. Anything happened in the world? Other than the market just like continuing to dump and dump and dump?
Not in the world, but my M1 Finance account is set up now.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Awesome. Dope.
And I still can't figure out why now.
No?
No. I keep getting notifications that like things are let me see what the latest one was. It was just like, I'm like, I don't know how to reconcile these things in here.
All right, let's reconcile some things.
There's a bunch of money to be budgeted apparently, but I don't know how to fix that. And
It's not
then,
necessarily something you need to fix.
okay,
It kind of depends on how you budget. So, like, Andrew keeps a lot like money in to be budgeted. I have a whole separate account where my income comes in throughout the month, and so it never shows up in YNAB, and I just put money in there at the beginning of the month. So it's kind of up to you. I haven't found a whole lot of success budgeting out past this month with YNAB. So I just focus on this month. But what you can do is you can just budget this month and leave the rest in to be budgeted.
and that would roll over to next month.
Yep. Yeah, so the thing about YNAB is to be budgeted is about the only thing that rolls over to the next month properly.
Right. I do have a reminder set to go through at the end or beginning of each month and set up the new budgets for each one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say. Oh, and then the other thing is like the credit card payments and how to,
So credit
I
card
guess,
payments
look
were
at those.
weird at first for me. So what happens is you budget, say, $100 on groceries, right? So then
Yep.
you have 100 available on groceries. And then if you buy $50 of groceries on your credit card and it comes through on a credit card account, what they do is they remove $50 from your grocery budget and then they add $50 to your credit card payment bucket
Just automatically.
automatically. And that's how in YNAB I know that I always have the cash in my bank account to pay off my credit cards entirely.
Uh, okay. Yeah, maybe on a separate
It takes yeah,
podcast we go
it
through.
takes a little bit. There's definitely some oddities. You've ran into like so far the two big things that I remember from the beginning. Credit card payments I reached out to support about. I'm like, I don't understand what is happening here. What do
Right.
these numbers mean? So I have there's a Google Chrome add-on called YNAB something, YNAB extension for YNAB, or I don't know, something like that. And it's got a ton of features. I only use like one or two of them. One of the features is that it'll color your credit card payment section a slightly different color if it's off from the balance, which has been a problem for me in the past. But for the most part, you can ignore your credit card section
I
unless
see.
you're going negative on the other budgets.
I think I might, and it gets tricky with mine because on my Prime card I have what they call an interest savings balance that I pay off every month because there are some things that I did the 0% financing on.
Uh-huh.
So I think YNAB pulls in the total amount, but
Yep.
every month I actually pay like a few $100s less than that because there's some stuff that's spread
Yep.
out like 6 months of no interest
Right,
payments.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely very different to get used to. I think I think it's a lot better. And what it gives to me is a peace of mind that mainly on the credit cards is that I literally can always pay off my credit cards at any time. Like I could go right this second without looking at any of my bank stuff, pay off every single one of my credit cards and be completely confident that I have the money to do that.
Yeah. That's a good
But
feeling too.
it takes a little bit to figure out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially so for me it's a little bit easier because I take that money from one account, put it into the account that YNAB's tracking at the beginning of the month. So I only budget once a month. So I actually kind of do what you were doing in your spreadsheet or Mint, except with dollars I actually have. What I was doing prior to being able to do that was a paycheck comes in and then you need to allocate those dollars. So like
Yep.
you're budgeting along through the month. And what I end up doing is setting a lot of budgeting goals. So if you set goals on things that are fairly consistent, what I end up doing on mine is I transfer $10,500 into the account at the beginning of the month. And then if you make sure all the categories are unchecked, on the right-hand side, you'll see a button that just lets you fund everything that's underfunded.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it basically auto budgets the whole thing.
Yeah. 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 I got to direct the fan at me because it is hot as hell up here today.
Anyways, yeah, sometimes we can do like a deep dive on YNAB or something like that when we can share a screen because I think it would
Yeah,
be interesting. There's definitely
because
quite a few oddities
we've
with it.
gone through it. We've gone through it a couple times. Gave me some overviews a couple times, but now that I'm in it, I don't
Yeah.
understand how some of the stuff actually works.
Yeah, and everyone
So,
kind of seems to have a slightly like unique way of managing it through the month. But like if you think of every one of those rows as an actual physical envelope and the to be budgeted is a big pile of cash that you have in your room, all you're doing in YNAB is moving that big pile of cash and you're putting pieces of it in different envelopes. And like when you pay with a credit card, you have a credit card payment envelope. They're just taking it out of the grocery envelope and putting it over there so that you make sure you have enough money to pay it.
yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. But that's cool. So M1 Finance is set up. I got my M1 video dropped. It's doing
Yeah,
all right. It's 3 out of 10.
I still haven't watched it. I feel like a bad
Oh my.
podcast host.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I got fucked up because the moments during work that I had free, or like during while I would eat, I saw Casey started publishing again. So
Okay. We're
I had
gonna
to start
we're
watching
gonna
that.
we're gonna trail off of finance here for a second onto Casey. Casey's videos. I'm happy to see Casey back. Let me start it off with that.
I
But
love it.
Casey's videos this time around have been actual clickbait.
Oh yeah.
His second to last video, I think it was actual clickbait. I got to the end of the video and I'm like, you didn't talk about anything that was in that title or thumbnail.
Let's see. Yeah, what was
I
the?
forget which
There
one
was
it was.
yesterday's. I thought was great. It was I started a fight I'll never win.
Okay, it was the one before that.
One serious question about the GoPro Hero 9.
Obviously, the one before that.
I know which one you're talking about. It's titled "The Truth About Why I Quit."
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was it. Yeah, that was it. Because I was interested, right? In his video before that or the one before that, one of the two that he released recently, he went into a little bit about like, getting tired of being basically retired or whatever. And then I saw
Yep.
that video drop and I'm like, oh, this is going to be really interesting. And then it got to the end and I'm like maybe if you really squint hard, he did talk about that with his father-in-law, but it's like I felt bait and switched,
The thing is
and
that
it bummed me out a lot.
he's done that with other vlogs. But
He's always been heavy on the clickbait, and I get that, but I don't feel like I've ever felt bait and switched like that. Where like he didn't even kind of touch on the topic.
So you actually felt deceived.
I did actually feel deceived at the end of that one, and I was upset.
Here's my interpretation of it. I think Casey knows, and Casey's fans know, that no matter what Casey posts, his fans are gonna watch it.
And I
You could
agree.
you could literally just put a period
I agree.
as the title, and
my
people will
problem-
still watch it.
My problem, for me at least, is when I watch it changes. A video that I think is going to be like informational and motivational and teach me something, I'll more likely watch like throughout work or during the day. If it's just a straight up entertainment vlog and I know that, I'll watch it during lunch or before work or after work. Like it's a different mindset that I'm in. So if I open up a video and I'm like, oh, I'm going to learn something really interesting about why he had quit YouTube in the first place, and then I get to the end and I'm like, what did I just spend my time doing? I mean, like, luckily it's only like 6 minutes long or whatever it was, but I don't know. It's the first time I felt like really deceived, and it hurt me a little bit.
I wonder how many fans felt that way.
I don't know. I mean, I see everyone on Twitter is like so stoked that Casey's back to daily vlogging and stuff, and I'm excited for him, but I haven't gotten a whole lot of value out of his vlogs either. Really from an entertainment standpoint or an informational standpoint so far.
I absolutely love them from they're refreshing from some of the other stuff I've seen on YouTube still.
Yeah, like I get what he's doing. He's just creating stuff and that's cool, but it's not been I'm not as excited about seeing the vlog drop now that we're on 6 or 7 as I think everyone else is.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's really refreshing to me
Who
because it's
I'm
like
excited about is back to daily vlogging is Cody Warner.
oh, he's back.
Yeah, he's back to dailies, which I'm super stoked about because I know dailies are hard to keep up, but that's his thing. Cody is
Warner.
the Casey of the like the creator photographer space. He's the only one in that space, I think, that can, one, really do dailies well, and two, can really only do dailies.
Didn't he try? He
Yes.
went away from dailies for a while and it just did not work
For
for
a
him.
long time, yeah, and then he's done a few dailies here and there, and he's back to dailies again. And I'm like every time one of his videos drops, I'm stoked to like watch it immediately. It's super exciting. Yeah, I'm excited that he's back. Yeah, so daily vlogging, it's like kind of making a comeback, huh?
Yeah,
So I'd be
it really
curious
is.
to bring this back to finances. I'd be curious actually how much Casey's making on some of these vlogs, especially these like really recent ones. Wow, you just picked up a cat. Okay, that happened.
Yeah, I wonder how much he is. I wonder what his CPMs are like.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious about that because I know it's not near as high as some of these
Like
finance
what
channels.
like what category does he fall into?
I don't know. He's just going to be in that broad category. He's going to be up there with like David Dobrik and stuff, um, whose CPMS are actually really not very good. Like that's one interesting thing about the. I know I've sent you a couple. The Graham Stephan's like iced coffee hour. Like he's been
Hmm.
having quite a few guests on there that are like out of this finance space but still in YouTube. And they like look at each other's like CPMs, which sounds really dirty to say, to be honest. Um,
Yeah, like Shelby Churches was not good.
no, and she's even more like I would say like tutorial financy than like Casey or David or whoever like that
Hmm.
in that world. So like their CPMS I think are really not good, and I think that's actually where there's like this common perception that you can't make money from AdWords or from AdSense. I think that's
Yeah,
actually where it comes from. Is like because in the finance space you can make a lot.
yeah.
So
Just
make
choose
sure
the
you all
right
hit that
topic
like button and subscribe and hit that bell to be notified about future videos.
for the finance
And most of
stuff.
the time it'll be on Wednesdays, but sometimes we just have to drink on Friday.
Yeah, because I was on the road all day. I'm back in the south
Okay. I'm
of
gonna give it
California.
props just for that bottle sound. Have you
I
noticed
was
that when you
I
pour
was
it?
pick Yeah, I was picking that up here
When
too.
you pour it, it's like gluk, 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 gluk. I've never had a bottle of whiskey make that sound before. That's amazing. All right, let's see what we got going on. Okay, they also got props for the black cork. That's just
Yeah,
cool.
they got a cool bottle.
Can Are you not gonna focus it?
You
Okay,
got to put it right in front of your face.
fine, fine. Don't
Right, right
focus it
here.
then. Whatever, GH4. Thank you. Um, ugh, how are we doing? Oh, I think the stream quality is actually pretty good this time. Thank goodness.
Nice.
All right, let's see what we got here. And then you think of a finance topic because I feel like we haven't talked about finance at all.
Yeah,
Ooh, that smells nice.
finance topic. Oh no, we totally have. We started talking about budgeting, M1 finance.
I'd like to make like like notes and be like, "Oh, it smells like toasted cherries and chocolate."
Well, that's actually exactly what I tasted in that one.
All I got is like, I got apple. It smells like apples.
You think that one is apples?
I think it smells
Okay.
like apples. That's what
I
it tastes
got
like.
uh I got dragon fruit out of that one. I would love to go into a wine tasting
Hmm.
and try and come up with the most ridiculous notes
That's
that I was
spicy. I
picking
didn't
up.
expect you to like something that was so spicy.
Dude, I love
Oh, it's
spicy.
barrel. Oh, this is barrel proof. oh,
Yeah,
oh, the
this
night
is
just got
spicy shit,
interesting.
dude.
Wait, is this what you were drinking last podcast?
Yeah, surprise.
Oh my god, no wonder we got so messed up.
Well, yeah, no
Mom,
wonder
I
I felt
really
great
hope
the
you're
next
not
day.
watching this. Do you ever think about that? You ever think like, are my parents watching this? Are they the one person watching this right now?
No, I think the one person is you streaming it on your iPad.
No, I don't have it on my iPad. Are you
Oh,
watching it right now?
not that I know of.
Then we actually have someone watching it.
Can you comment and
Yeah,
let
who are
us
you?
know,
Who are you?
or
But
give
yeah,
us
no, this is it's good. It's different though. It's
It is.
different. Hmm.
It is different.
That is different than a lot of the bourbons I've had. I like it. Good one.
Yeah. Well,
It's no
cheers.
Henry,
Glad we
Henry
got to.
McKenna, but
Yeah,
it's not
I
much
hadn't had Henry McKenna until now.
It'll ruin you. It really will.
Yeah, I'm about to order Kevin a bottle because
Yeah, it'll really ruin you.
needs to try
It's
it.
really good. Other finance topics. What do we got?
I don't know. I haven't
What else?
been reading.
Oh, dude, I'm getting rid of
the
my
news
emergency
much.
fund. We gotta
Oh
talk
yeah,
about that.
we talked about that one. So yeah, why are you getting rid of your emergency fund?
Okay. So, one, we're buying a $133,000 kitchen. So there's that. That has nothing to do with this, though. Except I prefaced it that way, so maybe it does.
But
Um,
wait,
all
you're
right,
not just
so
buying it.
I
It's
have-
it's
I
a
have,
wedge
like,
thing. It's a wedge thing.
I have like 35, 40,000, something like that in my emergency fund, which basically covers like 3 or 4 months of if I lost my job for some reason, like if my boss discovered this podcast or something like that, you know.
I don't think this is a fireable offense.
I don't. You never know. Wait till it gets to be 9:45 and see what we're saying. No, but so I have like that much money. Ally has now dropped down to a 0.8%, which is still beating a lot of the market in terms of savings rates. And I don't like having money sitting there not making any money. Like it's losing money at this point, right? Because it's less than the average of inflation. Granted, inflation is going to be pretty low this year. It's not making money, which is disturbing. And then I was watching a couple of videos, one from Mr. Money Mustache. I watched one a while back from Meet Kevin, where they were talking about basically using credit lines and debt and things like that as their emergency fund. And I thought that made a lot of sense. You and I had a discussion about it for a while, and then it started to click even more. And then I stumbled across a Reddit post in Fat Fire today, too, that kind of said the exact same thing. You know, I read that Wealth Management Index book. Are you reading that, or have you read it?
No, it's in
Okay.
my list though. It's
So-
something I'll get to.
So I read that, and it like, if you're a finance nerd, like it's a really good book, but it's super nerdy, like real nerdy. But I realized after our conversation about the emergency fund, they never once mentioned an emergency fund in there, like at all. Never. Like never do you stockpile cash for any reason other than hedging your investments. That's the only reason to have cash, is just part of your investing portfolio. When they're talking about like dips in cash flow, which is what like losing a job would be, it sounds like a less aggressive term than I got fired. Like my cash flow dipped for a few months. They're talking about using
put that
credit
in your
lines to
LinkedIn
manage
profile?
those. You know, they're talking about like open business lines of credit, home lines of credit, portfolio lines of credit. Like have plenty of lines of credit available, preferably like low interest lines of credit, like the M1 Finance line of credit, which there's a link down in the description below. And use that to basically augment your lack of cash flow. They use that a lot for people that make inconsistent cash flow as well. You know, people in like sales jobs, like think realtors, right? Their cash flow is really inconsistent. So they use credit lines to sort of smooth that out. So all of that, I have the M1 credit line, which I'll probably end up using a lot of it to close on this house, and then probably the rest of it on the kitchen. But then I have like, I don't know, I have like a $75,000 or $80,000 credit card limit now at this point. And then on top of that, like if it's an actual emergency, I have a $140,000 investment portfolio that I could sell out of if I needed to.
Yeah,
I
that's
have
like last. That's the last thing you want to
I,
dig into. But it's comforting knowing that you have it.
I have $20,000 in 401k that I could extract. That taking it out, I already earned a like a 20% return on it. I could borrow against my 401k. I could borrow 25% of my 401k at a pretty low interest rate. You know, there's a lot of access to capital that I have in the case of an actual emergency. So, like,
Yeah.
as I'm thinking about that, I'm like, well, why do I even have this money sitting here? Why don't I put that money to work? Because even if I took $40,000 and do the math real quick and put it into my M1 Finance portfolio, I would actually increase my credit line at M1 Finance by $14,000. So I would still be able to keep over a quarter of it as an emergency fund.
Right. Right.
So that's why I think I'm going to get rid of my emergency fund,
Yeah.
because I think I'd rather use credit lines to fill that gap. But
Yeah.
you said you wouldn't.
I said I wouldn't. And I actually went back and saw what I did with some of my emergency fund. And I did something similar. I put it in an IRA so that it would grow greater than what
Okay.
my Discover or Ally
Roth?
account. This one was a traditional.
Okay.
I still have to set up a Roth.
I will say, if I could set up a Roth IRA and contribute to it, that's how I would keep my emergency fund.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to roll my traditional into a Roth. But
I have
there are-
I have that horrible problem where my income is too high for a Roth. So
oh, I think this came in the package that
does
you sent me.
everyone feel bad for me yet?
This came with the bottle.
Oh,
It meant to go back to you.
really? That's weird. Mine didn't come with one of those. Huh. Wait, no, there it is. I found it. Oh, the lighting's
Oh,
not
yeah.
quite there yet. Hey, you got to get it in just the right light to see it.
It's in the bottle. Yeah. I think it came down to how it's a definitional thing of what you define as an emergency. And I always felt more comfortable having, well, now I do have access to more credit lines, which makes a big difference. But I think how I define emergency is something that I just cannot plan for. Like, I'm not even thinking about it. I don't even know
Yep.
what it is. And I might need a certain amount of cash at that very moment.
Yep.
Like, I might need to dump out $3,000 tonight
Yep.
for whatever emergency.
And
a
that's why the
line
credit
wouldn't
line.
be there in that time.
That's why credit lines, not loans, because credit lines you can write checks against.
Well, I gotta talk to M1 Finance because it's fucking taking like 3 days to get my
Yeah,
money.
M1 Finance is a little bit slower on their portfolio line of credit, but like if you got a HELOC, for example, which you don't own a home, so you can't get a HELOC, but if you got a HELOC, they give you a checkbook when you get it, so you can literally just write a check against it.
I see. Like that would be a good case. But
Yeah.
I'm not at the point yet where I feel like I can just say I empty out, say, a savings account and not
Well-
have anything in there other than like maybe some monthly expenses that I'm gonna roll over to the next month.
Well, and it's important to know that you have like the full amount covered by credit lines too, right? Like I put a spreadsheet together of all of my credit lines and made sure that I had enough and figured out what the interest rates of all of them were so I could make the right decisions. So I have it sorted smallest interest rate to highest interest rate and balance available. And as long as I have 4 to 6 months of emergency fund available through my credit lines, then I'm happy.
That's good enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd rather put that other money to work.
Yeah.
Like buying a second property or something like that.
That's a good excuse.
Speaking of, our realtor got back and it actually looks pretty good.
So how do we buy a second house?
Well, we got to find someone. Maybe this one person that's watching our podcast has $250,000 that they want to invest and earn 10% on. We got to find that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've touched on this a couple of times, but we haven't really gone into depth of our plan to buy more properties, right? So We are closing on a property in less than 7 days now. I don't know if you knew that. Less than 7 days. Next Friday, we're closing on our first property.
Yeah. Isn't it the 24th?
25th.
25th.
Yep. So next Friday, we're closing on our first property. But I found another property that looks really interesting. It's a lot more fixing up. Although based on what the realtor said, not a ton. He said if we were flipping it, it'd be a pretty tight margin, but that's because the kitchen would need a lot more work. But we're renting it, so it doesn't need as much. So I'm still working on getting quotes from contractors. But what we're looking at doing is taking a private money loan, which is basically the same as a hard money loan, except a little less scary and from someone that you theoretically know.
Yep.
Basically taking a short-term interest-only loan for like the term of like 12 months with the goal of paying it back in like 6. Interest rate of like 10%, something like that. Getting them to finance the purchase of the house and the rehab. So what'll happen is they will wire the money to escrow for you. You'll buy the house for cash, like a 7-day close. You'll normally, depending on the investor, normally you'll have to put some cash in to do some of the renovations, and then you'll basically get reimbursed from them through draws, because they don't want to just give you all the cash and you just like walk away and hide. With some of the people we're talking about doing this first investment with, I don't know if that'll be a thing or not, because they're people we know pretty well, and I think they know where we live and that we wouldn't do that.
They know us.
And so we're basically going to do that. We'll fix up the property. We'll refinance it, get 80% mortgage on it. So it's just like we bought the house for 20% down, but we'll be walking away basically with like 20% equity with very little to no money out of our pocket.
That is ideal.
Which sounds,
that's what we want to do.
It sounds impossible and magical. This particular house that we're looking at, the last numbers I ran, we're still gonna have to put 5 to 10% down, but that's significantly better than what we could get with a mortgage, and it'll cover the rehab.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so I was estimating like a $20,000 rehab, and we're only going to be out of pocket $8,000 to $10,000.
Right. And for context, like this is really our option before we're able to. Both of us are able to earn more money and essentially put our own money in.
That's the thing.
But also still grow our real estate portfolio.
You know, I earn a very good number a year, but the thing is, we want to buy 9 more properties at $675,000 in down payments. Even one house is $80,000. Like, I have an excess every year that I can put away for investing that's only about that. So at that rate, if I took all of my excess and put it into properties, we could only buy 1 next year and then 1 the next year. It would take us 9 more years to buy 9 more properties.
Right.
Which is not the speed at which we want to go.
Right. This would greatly help accelerate the process. And then also, we would be making money for other people at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, a 10% return on a 6 to 12 month holding of money is amazing. You know, I mean, I wrote that promissory note to that company I'm working with, and it was I actually want to say it was around a 10% note, and that's like the easiest money I've ever made in my entire life. It's amazing. Like, I gave them $24,000, and every month they pay me back, and you know, I'm gonna earn like $2,400 this year just because I let them have my money.
Yeah,
it's like crazy easy and magical. Actually, if anyone wants to like learn more about promissory notes, I can talk your ears off about it, because I learned a lot about setting it up. And man, like, if you have some cash just sitting around an account and like you fully trust the person that you're loaning it to, man, that is like easy money right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's better than it's better than any interest savings account right now.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me a lot of a rye. It actually reminds me like of a slightly more tame version of James E. Pepper.
James E. Pepper.
That's what it reminds me of. Yeah, and I realized I need to buy a bottle of that.
That's one I haven't had in a long time.
That's because you haven't drank with me at a bar in a long time.
I don't think I've ever had that one sober.
Well,
Like, like
that makes
first drink
sense.
where you like really get to taste it. It's always been like the fourth, fifth, or 12th glass.
It's not your 12th. You can't hold that much liquor. Don't kid yourself.
It depends how big the glasses are.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Should I pull up that video? I should pull up that video. I need to figure out how to do that.
Just have it queued up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't need to
Yeah, no, that's
exist
never my first one. My go-to at a bar is the first one, drink something nice. Drink something you're going to enjoy. And then
Yeah.
slowly work your way down. So that's
Yeah.
James E. Pepper is normally like my second or third stop, depending on how much I want to spend that night or if some company is expensing it. The first one's going to
Wonder
be
which one
like
that is.
I don't know, like an Angel's Envy typically is pretty common around places. A High West, like a High West Rendezvous or a Yippee Ki those are really good for firsts.
I love Yippee Ki
Yippee Ki is really good. I need to get a bottle of that too.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really spicy. Have you had their High West Campfire?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
that's
I've had
good too.
quite a few of
High West
the
makes
High
good
West.
ryes.
Yeah. Kevin and I went on a binge of those. We
Yeah.
rated a Total Wine over the course of like a month, and
Nice.
anytime they had something, it was ours.
Nice. Yeah, and then I
Sample 'em
degrade
all.
down to a Jameson Rocks.
That's when you know.
Jameson Rocks I could drink all day.
I don't know if I could do that.
You can never order a double, and you have to drink it like you're sipping on whiskey.
Yeah.
If
Trying
you
to think,
can,
like,
if you can do that and make sure you don't skip meals, you could drink it all day.
You
Have a
just pat
fun
it
day.
with a La Vic's burrito.
I was actually
Dude,
going to ask you if you could like freeze dry one and ship it to me.
Dude, I like iguanas more. but
Iguanas is
I had
good too.
I had an iguanas burrito in their sauce when I went back, and it's still. I know it exists down here in Southern California, but that is still one of my favorite burritos.
Yeah.
I know there's a better one down here. I just
We
gotta
haven't
find it.
found any really good spots out here. We're in the Northeast, so like if you want bagels and you want pizza, like we're your spot. But Mexican, it's a lot more East Coast Mexican. It's actually Mexican is a lot more similar to what Florida was. When I moved to California, Mexican was really weird for me. I'm like, what is all this like what is this guacamole stuff they give you? Why does salsa have cilantro in it? What is this nonsense? It's because all of our Mexican food is like Cuban inspired.
Oh, I see.
And over in
But
California,
Florida,
it's actually Mexican food.
but Florida has real Cuban food. Well, you
Oh
come over to
my God.
California, it's like
Don't even get me started on the
hodgepodge.
Cuban food. That is one of my favorite foods. A good Cubano is so good. And Cubano is a sandwich for anyone that's not had one.
oh, dude, I've had plenty of good Cubanos in like Bay Area.
Are you serious?
I'm just poking
If you're
the bear
serious,
right now.
then you've never had a Cubano.
Oh, yeah, I've had
Because I've
dozens of
tried
places
every
out there.
Cuban place in San Jose. And very few have them. And the ones that do, they just do it wrong.
Yeah.
The place that got closest was this is like the worst podcast, but I enjoy it. So fuck everyone. What's that little Rose Valley? What is the name of that place?
Well, as you were saying,
I don't
that,
know. It's just outside of downtown. There's like this little strip of like shops and stuff. There's a Papa John's down there because I know that because it was the closest Papa John's to us for a long time. Kimmy and I love Papa John's.
best pizza in San Jose. I'm just kidding.
But there was a Cuban place right around there. And at lunch, you could order a Cubano. And I was so excited. We went, we got a Cubano, and it came out and it looked almost right. Their bread was wrong. And then I started eating it. And they they used like different cheese, or there was some ingredient that was different. They were like trying to do like a spin on a Cubano. And I mean, you know this about me. There's nothing I hate more than ordering something like a Cubano or an old fashioned and getting something that's like, oh, that's our take on it. If that's your take on it, give it a different name. Call it the 55 South Old Fashioned or something like that. No, 55 South made a good old fashioned. What was that little speakeasy we used to go to? Haberdasher. They were the ones that had old fashions on tap, and they were horrible.
Oh, that sounds gross.
It is. It's like, man, what a lazy way to make it. Haberdasher is amazing. If you're ever in San Jose, you need to go to Haberdasher. Just don't order an old fashioned.
Was that the one underground?
Yeah, that was the one underground.
Okay. I went there once, right before I left the company. I remember
you went
that.
there once. Wow.
It
I've
was
been there a lot
you,
more times than
me.
that.
I wonder if PJ was there. Oh, I haven't thought of or said that name in a long time, but it was a long time.
We need to have
ago.
PJ on the podcast.
I wonder what that guy's doing, man.
Should we talk about that guy that emailed us?
No.
Okay.
No. But I did come up with a name for this episode.
Okay, what's the name?
Dollars and Nonsense.
Dollars and Nonsense. That's good. That's good. Yeah. No. I mean, this podcast is nonsense. That's what I love about it. I mean, if we finally started having people watch and ask questions and things like that, we could actually have a bit more of a directed conversation than just talking about whiskey and food. But
yeah,
I'm happy talking about whiskey and food too.
This is meant to be. We can talk about whatever we want, and then also taking a line from another podcast that I have grown to love, Driving While Awesome. We are experts in financial opinion.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about cars now. You transitioned. I am in love with that GTC.
GTC.
The GTC. I don't know if you've looked at the GTC coupe. You kept referencing the GTR. It means your information is just a little bit out of date. The GTC has been around for about 2 years. I'm pretty sure they came out in 2019. The GTC coupe. So they had a GTC Roadster, I believe, in 2018. And then they came out with the GTC Coupe. The GTC Coupe is basically like the GT and the GTS mixed with the GTR. For anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, I'm talking about a Mercedes AMG GTC Coupe. And it is incredible. I am absolutely in love with that car. You
gotta go drive one.
Since the 007 that came out with the Aston Martin DB10, where they only made 10 of the cars, and most of them were used in the film, and on average they cost about $1.5 million to buy. The DB10 was the car I was going to buy when I could buy an expensive fucking car. When I could buy a car that like people asked how much it was and like, oh, I'll never have that much. When I could afford one of those cars, it was the Aston Martin DB10. When I discovered this car this week, I think it was this week, I was like, oh my God, I think I might like this car better than the Aston Martin. And I do. I'm convinced. I do.
I think it is a better car than the Aston Martin.
I love everything about this car.
It's got the trickle down from Formula One.
It does. And that's what got me looking at it is watching the Formula One races and just seeing how amazing of machines those Mercedes cars are. But yeah, and then the styling of it is incredible. It's got an amazing engine. I love that you sit like on top of the rear axle in that car. It's got rear wheel steering. I mean, come on. What's not to like about that car?
So you get a GTC, I'll get the GTR.
I mean,
and
I'm talking GTC, but when we get there, you know I'm going to buy the GTR Pro.
That's like very limited. You gotta like really know someone to get those.
Yeah. What do you think this podcast is for?
Does Mercedes-Benz want to sponsor this podcast?
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. That would be amazing.
And do they want to invest in some property?
I had an idea for your channel earlier today. What? Oh man, what was it? I should have written that down.
Well, you did have the great idea of talking about how to get on track.
Yes.
get on a racetrack, not on track in
Oh,
life.
okay.
I don't know how
It's
to do
kind of
that.
I wouldn't say it was a good idea. I'd say it was a silly idea. The idea was like basically we talk finance, kind of like we're doing in this podcast, finance, but while on a racetrack.
I've seen videos like that where guys are just talking about random topics while they're going around
I've
the
seen a
racetrack.
lot of these car videos, and they're just like they're kind of reviewing the car. They're kind of just like talking and bantering while they're like driving the car super fast.
That's next level. You got to be able to drive a car that fast on autopilot in order to have a conversation while you do that.
Yeah, well, like a lot of the ones I was watching, they're still on like state roads and things like that. They're not on a racetrack. Although I did see the GTR Pro on okay, you're gonna have to help me with the pronunciation of this. Nürburgring.
Oh, that's spot. No, just kidding. Nürburgring.
Nürburgring.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Nürburgring.
Now say it with a German accent, and then you'll find it.
Nürburgring.
A little bit more from the
That was a
gut.
little more Russian. Nürburgring.
That was still kind of Russian,
Okay.
but we got what you're
It'll
saying.
be Russian. We'll get it. And he was going like 220 kilometers an hour. I looked it up. It was fast. It was amazing. It was like a track day. There were a bunch of other fast cars on there. He hits the straightaways and he guns it, and he just smokes the rest of the cars. Like just like it's nothing. I'm
Dude,
like,
those cars they sound
I'm
great.
like, I want one of those. Oh,
Twin
I've never
turbo
heard one in
V8.
person, but I can extrapolate from the YouTube sounds.
I have heard one in person, and it is well much better than the YouTube sounds.
Yeah.
But there's no other car that makes that sound. There's something about the AMG V8s.
Yep,
It's the reason that they call it like a fucking hammer. It
Yep.
really sounds like
it is. Yeah,
it's so intimidating almost.
I really like it's almost like a hybrid of like, you know, a lot of supercars are very, very European, Japanese ish, you know, think like even Ferrari, but like Lamborghini and the Audi R8 and things like that. What I really like about this is it's like supercar, but muscle car version of it.
Yeah.
You know, like
That
most
is a
of
good way to
the
put it.
like the supercars are like the real smooth, like high RPM hum with like a higher pitched like rev to it. This thing's just like it's gargling your life.
Gimme, 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 gimme.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
it
I'm in love
does.
with that car, and I'm going to buy that car. So we
Yeah.
need to buy those properties. So if anyone has that $220,000, $250,000 that we need to borrow, so we can buy more properties, so I can buy this car, let's do that. Come on, I'll let you drive
I
it.
think we should know that you have developed software tools to help us find these properties and analyze them instantaneously once they're available.
We have, yeah. I still need to work on the piece that's watching. Right, I have the piece that looks at the property and does the financials. Which, by the way, so anyone that's interested in real estate, like my God, I'm just thinking about watching this podcast. And if you were interested in just one of the topics we're talking about, it is impossible to get to. Like,
there's no way
impossible.
we'd be able to tag those.
But if you are interested in real estate and you're still here, which
If you're
no
watching
one
this
is,
right now, you are committed.
no one
So
is.
thank
No
you,
one is.
anyone listening.
We
30 years
need
from now.
someone that's going to take these podcasts and slice them up for the valuable bits in them. That's what we need.
We could hire somebody to do that.
We should, because I think there's valuable tidbits in here, but no one's going to watch this. We're 49 minutes in.
It's already been 49 minutes.
Yeah, dude. Anyways,
dollars and nonsense.
if you are into real estate, oh my God, what was I going to say?
That's all you got out, though.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about the AMG GTC,
Oh no.
and then we talked about the software that you built
The software. Okay.
to.
Okay, yes, there, I got it back. Thank God. That was going to be such
That's
a
what she
tease.
said.
If you're in Good one. If you're into real estate, I forgot what I was saying. They like sat here for an hour waiting to hear about real estate, and I forgot it. No,
This point's already been 90 seconds.
so we use the Zillow the Zillow Zestimate for our after repair value estimate, right? But
Yep.
there's a trick to the Zillow Zestimate that we use. So we don't use just the straight Zestimate because that thing is like weirdly influenced by sale price and all kinds of stuff. Like if you take a house that has a Zestimate of $1 million, you list it on the market for 1.1, the Zestimate is immediately going to jump by probably $80,000. It just like that doesn't make any sense. Just because
Right.
I want to sell it for 1.1 means it's immediately valued higher? No, that's not how the market works. So what we use is if you go into Zillow and you look at the Zestimate, below that there's a button to click that says other Zestimate models. And there's 3 models. There's one, I believe it's price per square foot. Don't use that one. There's one that's based on tax records. Don't use that one. There's another one that's based on comps. Now, Zillow's comps are stupid, right? They're based on basically number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, square footage, lot size, things like that. Things that a computer can understand really well. But what I've found is it's actually pretty damn accurate for what we're using it for. If you're trying to get a comp for the property in its current state and it's a below market quality state, it's not going to work well. But if you're looking to use it for like after repair value, like we are, so we're trying to buy a property, fix it up to basically what market would be for a rental property, it works freaking great for that. So this property that we're looking at right now, listed at 235, the comp came out, I believe, to 295 using that Zillow's estimate. When I was talking to my realtor today, he said based on comps, he'd look at 300,000. Like this thing came out within $5,000 of our realtor's estimate based on comps, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And very exciting. So that piece of the automation actually seems to work pretty well. The part that I still want to like work on is the thing that basically sits out and just watches like all of the properties and filters them down. Because right now, like this property we found because I checked my email and looked at it.
We'll build that and call it like Hunter or something like that. It's going out, or like Scavenger. It's going out and finding.
I like Hunter though, because then eventually we can find one that's gonna like analyze the thing, send an email to our realtor, and get the deal started, and that's gonna be called Gatherer.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Hunter, Gatherer.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's going to be one that actually gives them money, and we'll call that Offerer.
Offerer? I don't know that I trust myself building something that's just going to buy houses.
Spend money.
To be honest, so
you just get a text and it says this house is rated at a 9.5.
Yeah, like in like 5 years,
yes.
we check our accounts and we're like, wow, we have 50 properties.
No,
5
it's
years,
just like
50 properties. That's not enough. 100.
It's like, wow, we bought 2 properties today.
Okay. Okay, so little backstory about why this is so random of a episode. Justin has been traveling all week, and so we normally catch up almost daily. But this week we have not been able to catch up daily.
So this is also the catch-up. I love that sound.
So this is also the catch-up. Okay, so I've told you what my next book I'm reading is, right?
You did, but I forget it now.
So I'm reading a book about poker strategy.
Yes.
So I'm almost done with Food Fix. Finally, I'm at the epilogue. Amazing book. You should definitely read it. It will completely change how you look at food. Kimmy and I both are on a whole foods focused diet now, and in a week she's lost 16 pounds. I've lost 1.5 pounds, and neither of us feel like we're not eating.
That's wild.
It is insane. Yeah,
that is wild.
And it's all just because like the starch carb focused diet that we've been sold is just wrong. It turns out a high fat diet burns a lot more calories. And processed foods are just bad. Processed foods, even meaning like, so I don't know if you know this. Okay, this is not where I was going with this, but this is where we're going. A piece of whole grain bread has a higher glycemic index than a couple of tablespoons of sugar. Something like that. I hope no one on YouTube quotes me on that because it's probably roughly wrong, but it's mostly right. Is that not crazy to you?
That is actually crazy.
It's really insane. I want to pull up my quotes. Oh, and the UN estimates that we only have 60 harvests left before we have land that is unfarmable.
Really?
60.
So you only get 60. And how often do they do that? Is it like once or twice a year?
A harvest is once a year.
Wow. So 60 years on that land, and we've basically rendered it useless.
No, 60 years on all of the land.
Oh.
They are saying we have no farmable land left in 60 years.
Wow. How do they define farm? Like what? I guess what does it do to make it useless?
So
does it suck up all the nutrients?
When you till the land, it releases the carbon out of the dirt, out of the soil. So there's a distinction he makes between soil and dirt. Soil is full of microorganisms and carbon and all of the things that make plants grow. And it's like the potting soil that you buy. It's real spongy and black and dark and grows things really well, right? Dirt is like dirt. It's like almost sand, but brown and whatever. So our industrial farming has basically been removing everything out of the soil and turning it into dirt. So tilling it removes all the carbon, throwing all these fertilizers and herbicides and things like that actually are throwing nitrogen into the soil that are ending up in water supplies and things like that. But the nitrogen also kill the microbiomes in the soil, turning it even more into dirt. And because there's no biodiversity, so we're growing corn on corn on corn on corn, it just sucks all the same nutrients out. So my grandpa was a farmer. Well, he's retired now, but when I was growing up, he was farming. Every other year, you would alternate soybeans and corn. One, like those are the two most heavily subsidized crops in America. So that's why I grew them. But you would alternate them because they extract different nutrients out of the ground. Now, that's not enough. But now, they don't even alternate. Now it's just like corn, soy. Yeah. And they throw all this stuff on top of it. So our soil is being stripped of everything it is and turned into dirt. And that's why they say we only have 60 harvests less. That's why there's this thing called regenerative farming now that can actually turn dirt into soil. It's basically like lots of plant diversity grown at the same time, plants that cover the ground and basically keep the dirt there, and then animals grazing on the same land and peeing and pissing into it and natural fertilizer, right?
Yeah.
You would really find the book interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, where was I going before that? Poker. Right. So my next book.
Great transition.
The reason I'm very excited to finish this book is because I'm really excited to read the next book, which is about poker strategy. I've been obsessed with poker the last couple of weeks. Like, so much so that I have actually watched poker tournaments on YouTube. So a couple of things I've learned. One, Kevin Hart is really into poker.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I've watched him on 2 tournaments now. And 1, he is hilarious. And 2, he's really good. So I guess he's been playing poker ever since he started touring on comedy tours. So for like a while. So he's really good. The last game I watched him play, he actually played against 3 or 4 different pro players and won. It's fascinating. But so I've been watching a couple of videos on like poker strategy here and there. And the only reason I got thinking about poker strategy is it's referenced a lot in terms of like day trading strategy. It's referenced a lot in business. It's referenced a lot in the various different places that I'm like interested in. Is like poker strategy is like an interesting thing to learn. So I'm like, why not get a book on it? That could be interesting. This food fix book was like really out of my realm of books. So I'm like, well, let's find something else that's really out of my realm. Poker strategy is one. So because of that, I've been watching a lot and learning a lot about poker, and then I discovered online poker today, and I spent way too much time on it. And because of COVID, and because all of my like closest friends are in opposite sides of the country now, I'm trying to figure out how to have like a remote poker game. That's how I
There's
discovered
gotta be a
online
way.
poker, by the way.
There's got to be a
The
way.
app that I found, it's sort of possible, but it's horrible. It crashes. It crashed multiple times, and you
do
get
it
like
through
a
like a
certain
Zoom?
amount of fake chips. But once you're out of
Oh,
them, you have to buy more from the company.
oh, that's how they make money then.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I get it from a business standpoint. So, Andrew and I are building a poker app. We're building a web-based poker for only private games. So,
That's pretty cool.
the main purpose is for us to have a poker game.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, especially in today's world, that could be a business.
I'm really surprised that there's no. Well, granted, I'm sure COVID accelerated the need for it, but no
Yeah, like there's a
remote.
lot of online poker, but it's not just like tailored to like, like people like us that just want to have like our friends game. And we want it so
Yeah,
you don't have to install all this software, you don't have to sign up for all this stuff, you don't have to pay all this money. I'm
yeah.
like, dude,
They have online poker,
if you could like just
but
release
it's
this,
like competition based.
if you could just release this and say like, we want to have a poker game and we go and sign up and we pay like $5 for the game and it's got a 24-hour time limit on it, right? We would
Yep.
do that. And then you just hop on a Zoom call at the same time. That'd be a lot
Yeah,
of fun. So
that
we're
would be
building
fun,
that out.
actually. Good.
And I've gotten obsessed
Add
with
it,
poker. And I'm actually not that bad at it, at least online.
add it to the project list.
Yeah, that's actually what we were working on towards the end of the day today. I really hope my boss doesn't find this.
You mean end of the day after you finished up
Yeah,
work?
yeah, yeah. End
Obviously.
of the day after 5 o'clock, for sure. We were
That's what you
working on it
meant,
after
dude.
5 o'clock, to be fair.
That's what I'm saying. You got to clarify when you were working on it in a workday.
Yeah. We definitely finished it after 5 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So dollars and nonsense. That was this episode.
Dollars nonsense. Yeah, let's get back to dollars. Where can we go with dollars? Let's see. Ally Bank's down to 0.8%. That's a thing. I'm getting rid of my emergency fund. Dude, the markets have just been like all kinds of wonky the last 2 weeks.
What's the latest? I saw a little
I
down.
actually closed it off of my computer. I've been trying to get myself a little bit focused the last couple of days. I know I've been in a little bit in like a unproductive funk.
Yeah.
So I actually closed it off today. I've checked a couple of times on my phone, and I'm checking right now. Looks like we were down 35 points in the S&P, down 1% today. And we actually went down almost 2% at one point in the day. But we've just been in this flat range between 3,300 and 3,400-ish on the S&P futures. I follow the futures, everyone. So if you're looking at the SPY or whatever, 3,300 and 3,400. And 3,392 was the previous all-time high, prior to us hitting it at the beginning of September. So it's just like kind of been like dipping down and touching that, dipping down and touching that, and continuing on. I mean, honestly, I don't know where the hell it's going to go at this point. It's looking more down, but no one really knows. No one really knows.
It's the market.
It's the market.
The market
It's gonna.
does.
I can
Market
tell
does
you
what
one
it
thing
wants.
for sure. It will either go up or it will go down.
That is a very good point.
Yeah, I can tell you definitively it will not stay the same. Actually, that's a lie because it's Friday at the end of the day. It is going to stay the same until Sunday at 6.
There was an asterisk.
But
on your
at 6
statement.
o'clock Eastern on Sunday, it will go up or it will go down.
Yeah. There's a minor asterisk.
I wonder how many people know that the markets actually start trading that early. Huh. That's when futures open. Well, the S&P futures at least.
Sundays at 6.
Mm-hmm. So what else is going on? How's life and stuff?
Yeah, life is all right. Can't complain. I'm excited to be making some more videos.
Me too. That's been good. I did not record mine today. That migraine really set me back.
Yeah,
Um,
that's an acceptable reason to not make a video you can't fucking see.
yeah. So I told Kimmy that I need an hour of quiet time, whether that I might have to make it before the kids wake up at some point this weekend, because my release time is 2:45 in the afternoon on Monday. So
Oh,
I got to make this video. This week is
I c-
Ally Bank. Is it still worth it in 2020?
that should be good.
Spoiler alert, it is.
It's really good. I like
That
Ally.
graph of interest rates was really interesting. It was very hard to compile, but it was interesting.
Were you just going back and finding like email updates or
Yeah,
press
so
releases saying,
Wealthfront turned out to be pretty easy because they posted on their blog. So that actually
hmm,
wasn't too bad. I wanted to do Betterment too, but I could not find any historical reference of Betterment's rate changes.
did they send any email updates? Do you still have those
No,
emails?
they didn't. Because I have an account with Betterment, and I think they would have if I had money in the account, but I didn't have money in my cash everyday account. So
Oh,
they didn't send an email update. And even if I did, I still don't know if they would have sent an email update. It was impossible to find. And then Ally, yeah, I did have to go through email updates. They at least are really consistent with it. What I found really interesting was when things started dropping, what you saw is Wealthfront would react really quickly and really aggressively, right? Like at one point, they went down like a lot in a very short period of time. But what we saw with Ally, especially if you look at the dates on the spreadsheet, they were almost monthly.
oh,
Like
interesting.
it was somewhere in the range of like the 12th to the 17th every month. They would lower it by 0.5%. There was only one time that they lowered it by a number that wasn't 0.5%. And
Why
what
do you
I
think that the
what I
two
got
different strategies?
well what I got out of that is that Ally knows what the fuck they're doing when it comes to banking.
Ah,
What I got out of that is that they have people in Ally Bank that understand where the markets are going, why the markets are going that way, and how to react. What I got from Wealthfront was, what's this? What? You what? What? Drop it. Just hit the hammer. Drop it. Drop it.
we
Put it
can't
down.
sustain.
Put it down. We
We
can't
can't
do this
sustain
anymore.
it.
We knew we couldn't do this forever. That's what I got out of it. And that's why I'm a big fan of Ally.
They were
Because I
good.
actually moved from I mean you remember this. I moved most of my storage from Ally to Betterment because it was like a 0.2% higher interest rate, which sounded like a lot at the time. But then I ended up moving back because Ally eventually and still does have the highest interest rate across the Ally Betterment Wealthfront sort of world.
Yeah. I
And
love
at the
Ally.
same time, Ally's like, hey guys, I know a lot of you moved away from us because you weren't sure if we knew what we were doing. But it's pretty obvious we know what we're doing now. We have the highest interest rate. And if you transfer money to us right now, we're going to give you more money. So they had
Yeah,
like a bonus for transferring money in.
those are my
It
favorite.
was amazing. Like in one of the lowest times of the market for interest rates, Ally's like, here's a hand. Take my
Yeah.
hand. Come back to us.
Here's a
You'll
hundred
be
bucks.
happier here.
Just try it.
And I have been. I like Ally
Yeah.
a lot. They're really good. I actually had a really hard time because I was trying to structure it like the last video where I have the good section and the bad section. I had an incredibly difficult time coming up with the bad section because everything I have bad I already listed in my last video. So I don't know. We'll see how it does. We'll see if the algo picks it up.
Yeah, I'll go.
I'm excited for my fuck your emergency fund video though.
You got to go with the title, man. You got to go with the
I think
real
I'm gonna have to.
controversial title.
I think I'm gonna have to go with that title.
Test it out. Test it out.
I don't,
Right now,
there's not enough data points to test it out.
right now, I see every one of my videos as a test. I'm gonna try and do one thing differently, a
Yep.
different style, a different thumbnail, different title. Like it's all a
Yeah.
test. Like I don't have enough. I don't have enough traction to
Yep.
be like, this is what my audience wants.
The M1 Finance video is doing pretty well so far. I think the algorithm's gonna pick it up even more over the next week. I'm starting to see the bumps that I've seen before from SEO jumps in the YouTube videos. So I think it's going to pick it up. It's already got 28% of its traffic from the M1 Finance search term. But the bulk of its traffic is actually from the browse page, which is really cool.
Interesting.
And about 60 to 70% of people watching it are not subscribed, which is great. I like to see a balance between the two, right? Like a lot of my Ally Bank videos have been like 96% not subscribed, which is good as an acquisition channel. So I'm starting to formulate my like ideas around these videos. I mentioned this the other day to you, but there's like acquisition videos and there's current subscriber videos.
Yep.
And for me, the M1 Finance, the Ally Bank videos, those are acquisition videos. Those should be 5 to 6 minutes long. They should be SEO focused. They should have high not subscribed counts and be like 50 to 60% retention. The Fuck Your Emergency Account video, that is a current subscriber video. That is a video that should probably be like 80+% currently subscribed. Would be great if it was more. And it should be probably 8 to 12 minutes long.
Dude, I think you might get a lot of new subscriber views on that, or non-subscriber
potentially.
views.
The problem is I don't think I'm big enough that they're gonna just suggest my random videos, except for in like sort of very unique extreme circumstances. So I have those 2 YouTube videos that I got this idea from. I'm going to analyze those. I'm going to share a lot of tags. I'm going to share a lot of keywords and try and get in the suggested videos section of those. But my channel stature, like it's funny in YouTube, you fight a lot against like the bigger you get, the easier it gets, right? I mean, I guess it's the same thing in the finance world, right? The more money you have, the easier it is to make more money.
Yeah.
The same thing on YouTube. Like the bigger you get, the easier it is because they're gonna suggest someone like if Graham made a Fuck Your Emergency Account video and I made a Fuck Your Emergency Account video, they're gonna recommend his video over mine almost every single time.
Pretty guaranteed.
Because one, he's generating revenue for them and I am not, and 2, he's a proven creator and I am not.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's why I kind of view it right now as like videos for subscribers and videos for acquisition. At some point in time, it'll be like the videos for subscribers will be blended, but I still think there's going to be these are driving acquisition videos.
That makes sense.
You know, like when Graham makes a passive income video, that's an acquisition video.
Yeah. I'm sure. I wonder if they think about it that way. They have to split it out.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, his videos are pretty consistent. They're all 10 to 15 minutes long. The thumbnails pretty much look the same. The content's structured fairly similarly. So he may just like view them all the same. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he also has that scale.
Exactly. Yeah. I think like you might not have to worry about it quite so much. Because at a certain point, you just get like snowball effects on subscribers. Right?
Yeah.
Like half of my subscribers are from my 2 Ally Bank videos. I have like 120 videos on my channel.
I think my subscriber count is about the same, and mine came from about the same number, I think, from 1 video.
Yeah. Anyways, we should probably wrap this up because we are now an hour and 14 minutes long. We can roll into the after the podcast portion of the conversation, which is where it gets real fun, real exciting. You can check that out on our Patreon page. Just kidding. We don't have a Patreon page, but if you're interested in that sort of thing, hit me up because it's something I actually thought was interesting. That was Andrew's idea, of course.
I don't think you should pay for the after hours, but I think it'd be interesting.
I think you should.
I think it'd be interesting if you could join the after hours.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. So that one concurrent viewer that didn't respond to our call out to chat.
It's probably just a default.
Yeah, they're like, well, we see you get no concurrent viewers every week, so we're going to put one in here.
It's like we can't put 0, so we're going to put at least 1.
Yeah, I definitely don't have it open anywhere, so I don't know. Anyways, that's it for today. We definitely need to hire someone to extract this stuff because unless you like finance, cars, real estate, and whiskey, I mean, you're a pretty awesome person at that point, so you deserve it. Anyways, that's
Yeah,
it.
I feel like that's
As
that's a good amount.
always, check us out on thefinancialilliterates.com or Twitter, Gustin Jabriel, and Twitter, Trobrock, and all the links are in the description. We will see you guys next week at some point, probably Wednesday around 8:30 Eastern-ish. So,
Yeah.
but we'll see. It depends on Justin's life and all.
Yeah.
All right.